At the Isha Yoga Center, Sadhguru has manifested the Naga shrine at the Surya Kund. In the yogic tradition, the serpent holds special significance for its ability to be still and its extraordinary sense of perception. In fact, for thousands of years, mystics have created energy forms and deities based on this. These deities are referred to as Nagas and are especially significant to those seeking to explore mysticism. The festival of Naga Panchami in India is a celebration of the sacred serpent. Millions of people across the country celebrate this day in various ways. We will now witness the Aarti offered at the Naga shrine.
आरार्त्रिकं कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। कर्पूरगौरं करुणावतारं संसारसारं भुजगेन्द्रहारं सदा वसन्तं हृदयारविन्दे भवं भवानी सहितं नमामि। आरार्त्रिकं समर्पयामि श्रीगुरुचरणकमलेभ्यो नमः।
Nagendraharaya Trilochanaya Bhasmangaragaya Maheshwaraya Nityaya Shuddhaya Digambaraya Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Tasmai Nakaraya Namah Shivaya. Namaskaram. Naga Panchami. All these fires and snakes, this is really looking like a cult, huh? Even baby snakes on my show. Oh. So what is this all about? The recognition of the sacred serpent is not limited to any one given culture or geography. Whether you take Central Asian cultures, which go back to 35 to 40,000 years, Mesopotamian culture, Egypt, Greece, South America, North America, and even the more recent developments of Christianity, where now their numbers have receded because we are in democratic nations. It's all about numbers, not necessarily about vision or insight. Because their numbers have receded, the Gnostic Christians have almost evaporated from the planet. But they always held the snake more sacred than the sun. That's very controversial, but that's how it was. Somewhere along the way, the snake got bad press. That's what decides everything, you better know that. Well, I've told you about this and you know this before you met me also. That dumb couple, ate the fruit of knowledge only at the instigation of the snake or the serpent. Well, the simplistic depiction of that, as it led to whatever, which is the basis of our existence today, even as per that story. That which seeds life on this planet, if that's evil, all the best for you. Anybody who sees the source of life on this planet is the real evil. Obviously, you have never tasted life, You have no taste of life within you. That's why you think whatever instigated life on this planet is an agent of the devil or evil. Well, this comes from a different context of mind, which is unfortunate and had terrible consequences for humanity, that human beings cannot even come to terms with their own biology. Forget about anything else. You just cannot accept your simple biology, and you make up all kinds of stories around that. Well, one reason for ages in many societies where women and girl children have received the worst is simply because we could not come to terms with our biology. So, in almost every culture across the world, snake or the sacred serpent is always venerated as a source of insight, as a key to many aspects of life. Well, even biologists or zoologists, to be specific, also have some incredible facts about snakes, which have been largely ignored. For example, even now it is recognized that many sea snakes or certain sea snakes, even today, possess what is called as a pineal foramen. That is, it has a hole in its forehead, and there are light sensors, so it's called the pineal eye. Largely till recently, I think it was believed that this pineal eye went into extinction almost 100 million years ago. But in recent times, certain scientists are recognizing that certain snakes still possess the pineal eye or the pineal foramen. Foramen literally means, in Latin, just a hole in this head. You got one? Okay. You're trying, I know. So because of these sensors or there are other devices that the snake developed, what I say today may sound strange to a lot of people, and of course the trolls will go, but it's all right. The blind will even deny the sun. Can't do anything about that. This happened when I was maybe 21, 22 years of age. And I was in the jungles of Kakankote, thick jungles, tiger country, king cobra country. There I was with these tribals and walking in the forest for days on end. So one guy claimed he has what is called as a Naga Mani. Many people of Indian origin might have heard of this. There are women named as Naga Mani. That means a jewel that comes out of a cobra, a pearl or it's like a precious stone. How would a snake produce a precious stone? Today, this is something we have always known, but everybody says for everything, if you say, sun has come up, people will say, prove it. I don't know how to prove it. I can see. So in this sense, when a cobra ages, particularly the brown cobra of the southern Indian origin, particularly there, because this is where I have noticed, when it ages, as it starts finding, for it to hunt, it becomes more and more difficult because it's not as agile as it was in its youthfulness. Then it starts storing up its venom, which is one of the most complex proteins. Today, there is a whole lot of research and development of making variety of medicines out of snake venom, scorpion venom, even the spider venom, all these things, because venom is one of the most complex protein compounds that you will find on the planet. So it will start storing this up and crystallizes this and stores it up in its forehead. In starlight, it will glow and create light, bluish-green light. Because of this, insects and small animals will come towards it. That means dinner is coming. Normally a snake eats once in 12 to 14 days, but as it ages, it starts increasing this to 16 to 24 days. Much later, up to 32 days, it won't eat. So it just sits in one place and glows in the night. And insects, large insects and smaller animals like mice and other things move towards the light, and then he gets himself nourished. This is something that is known, it is very much in the lore in India. So this Nagamani is a very sought-after thing, that people want to get the jewel out of the snake. So today, unfortunately, for commercial reasons, people are catching snakes and trying to pull it out of its forehead. But if you pull it out of the snake's head, it will be an immature stone, if you can call it a stone, because it's a crystal. And that will be of no use. And above all, it's snake's property, it's not yours. But over a period of time, the snake will shed this. So if you go and search in spaces where snakes have nested, you may find one. So when I was with these tribals, one guy was being looked up to like anything. He was a young man, maybe around just over 30 years of age, and that guy, everybody looks at him with great reverence. I said, what is this guy so special about? They said, he's got a Nagamani. I've heard this plenty of times. At that time, I'm a super skeptic. Unless I see it, I won't believe it. I said, rubbish, show it to me. So he showed me in the day. It looked like a small pebble, almost opaque, black in color, bluish-black in color. I said, what about it? He said, no, you come in the night, I'll show you. We were actually camping in the jungle because it's elephant country and also buffalo. Of course tiger, but tigers also eat only once in 15 days, so it's okay. But elephants don't walk upon people once in 15 days. So we had fires like this going. Then this came and he said he will display his Nagamani, but he didn't want firelight, so we moved away into the darker part of the jungle. There was hardly any starlight, very little. So he placed it on a leaf and held a white cloth, a thin white cloth. I couldn't believe it. It was glowing like, just about the same as the center of the peacock's feather, that greenish blue color, bright and clear. If you remove the cloth and look at it, it's just a black pebble. If you place the cloth over it, it's greenish blue thing. He said he scavenged some snake's nest and he found it, and he doesn't want to give it to anybody because it's going to make him the king of India. Because that's always been the belief, if you get Nagamani, you will become the king, you will become prosperous, you will become powerful, you will become everything. I do not know what has happened to him since then, but one thing is, people say if you keep it on your body, a snake will never bite you. That could be possible, because I've seen people demonstrating this. And well, they've very early in my life they have bit me, but after that they have never bit me, though they had many chances, they never did. Maybe I got… Do you see? So, what is the significance of this veneration of the sacred serpent? I think I must read you a poem. You okay, or you'll sleep off if I read a poem? Hello? Yes for what? Sleep off? What is it? Is there a paper? Is there a poetry sheet? Oh. Make it a little larger, eh? Can you read it on the screen yourself? No? Okay. It's called Naga. Your fearsome grace brings not just fear, but fascination too. Your limbless locomotion intrigues and mind boggles most. You are a replica of the larger creation in the form of the Milky Way and the cosmic spiral. When you uncoil out, there is creation. When you coil up, there shall all end. Made in the image of the cosmic coil, you embody the power and insight to take us to the depths of our being and transport us into the unknown. So wherever people sought mysticism, wherever people had deeper experiences of life, there the snake image was always there. Well, I said about many cultures, but Indo-Asian region is the most active serpent culture, even today, very actively there. On the Naga Panchami day, you will completely freak if you see, maybe we could have shown you some videos, I don't think they have it ready, but if they can, you will see thousands of people, every one of them carrying a snake and walking around on the streets like a procession. Nowhere else in the planet this can happen. Cambodia is another place where people, handle poisonous snakes very effortlessly, but there they eat it up also. In India, it is considered a great sacrilege to kill and eat a snake. The Chinese have been using snakes. The Bureau of earthquake detection, like a meteorological group, actually uses snakes to predict earthquakes in the region. I think I've been talking about this, that if you observe a cobra, clearly you can say earthquake is coming. I'm not an expert, but people claim that if they observe it properly, they can even tell in which direction it is, where will it happen approximately. So, essentially they are very sensitive and able to feel life. They got an ear to the ground. Snakes or serpents are usually stone deaf, they don't have hearing mechanism. They are feeling the reverberations of the earth and their entire body is in touch with that, so literally ear to the ground. And within the human body, there is something called as a reptilian brain. This is what is relevant to us. The reptilian brain controls the vital functions such as heartbeat, respiration, temperature and balance in the system. Your body becomes reliable if your reptilian brain is all that you access, but it becomes rigid and compulsive. In a way, those who are aspiring to become conscious, those who are aspiring to explore the peaks of consciousness, for them to be released from the ways of the body, the compulsiveness of the body is one of the most important things. If you want to fly, first thing is earth must release you. If it doesn't release you, you're not going to fly. You may call it gravity, it's a kind of a binding. Only if it lets you go, only if you find a way to break that bond will you fly. The same way within you, only in some way, if you bring this reptilian brain and all the other functions associated with it to a certain sense of seamlessness and ease, that your heart beats without effort, your breath happens without effort, everything in the body happens well, you're well balanced. Now if you sit here, you have no concerns of the body. You have little concern of the body, then the nature of the body is such. See, to make the body the most dominant factor of your life, even if you're trying to seriously meditate, we will go into our meditation process, is it okay? Even if you want to, we don't have to cut your throat. If I just put a little pin into your little finger, it'll be only there, nowhere else. That's all it takes. So once the physiological process, all the things must happen involuntarily within you. Well, biologically they called it involuntary, but because of inner engineering we can say automatic. All that needs to happen automatically, the moment they don't happen that way, if you have to manually do it, most of you American people, you cannot even drive a car with a gear stick. Hello? You will be driving in first gear all the way home. Because gotten used to the automatic, suddenly when the automatic doesn't function, finished, everything seems to be off. So the same with the body, the reptilian brain is handling all these aspects which are involuntary and vital functions of the body. They must function so smoothly that you don't even feel the body. Body is not a concern. Only body is not a concern, something bigger is possible. When body is the concern, it has the power to root you down just to that. It will make sure you don't go anywhere with anything. So, this process of what is this Naga veneration across the world is just this. People are trying to transcend the physiological compulsions which we have, which are not small, which is the basis of our making. It is the basis of our making. All the physiological compulsions of breath, which you must, food, hunger, reproductive aspects of life, everything are vital aspects of life without which you cannot exist. When I say you cannot exist, you can overcome a few things. Instead of eating 5 times a day, you can eat once a day or twice a day. Instead of sleeping 8 hours, you can slowly sleep 3 hours a day. You can do those things. But you are here only because somebody else had a compulsion. You call them your parents. Only because they had their compulsions, you and me are here. So these compulsions are managed by the reptilian brain. Suppose reptilian brain got little, what to say, dispassionate, suddenly it'll go away. So, yoga has 2 different ways to approach life. One is to subdue the reptilian brain, another is to transcend the reptilian brain. If you subdue, life works one way. If you transcend, life works in a different way. But if you are rooted in the reptilian brain, you will be just a body. You think you have a brain, but it's okay, that is the reptilian brain. So if you transcend, then this pineal foramen begins to function even with you. I'm meaning to say, if you don't use your venom on a daily basis, it'll all gather and crystallize and you will glow. But I think you're spilling it out on a daily basis. So the imagery of the snake has extended itself to various aspects, even to the arrangement of the celestial objects around us. You must have heard, at least the Indian origin people, you would have heard about Rahu, Ketu, who are part of the 9 Navagrahas, which means 9 celestial influences upon us. They are of a shadow existence, they're not really there, but they're relevant because of this 18-year cycle of the moon, which essentially is about the precision. It aligns with the precision of the earth's movement, because earth is on a wobble, there is a precision. So because of the precision that there is a 18.5-year cycle, as earth travels around the sun, it has over 18 years of cycle. The lunar cycle is over 18 years. So, at the 2 ends of this, or at 180 degrees to each other, is Rahu and Ketu. The story goes like this, that Rahu Ketu was one guy. He was the opposition. Well, anybody who is opposition, we usually demonize them, so they were demons. Hello? Even today, right? If you're opposition, you're a demon. You're on the wrong side, that's all. So when they churned out Amrita, or the elixir of life, many things came out of it. One of the things that came out was extreme, most malevolent venom or poison came out of it. So Shiva saw that if this one drop falls on the earth, people will die out of this, life will get snuffed out of this planet. So he looked around what to do, nobody was doing anything about it, so he drank it up. You know, that's him. So Parvati, his wife, saw that he drank up the worst poison and all of it. So she held him by the throat and stopped it here. So that's why his throat turned blue, and that is why his snake Vasuki always gathers around that, because he is comfortable with the venom. In this whole process, the elixir of life came. When it gushed out, of course you wanted only your party people to drink it. But because the opposition was not being allowed, one guy from the opposition, whose name was Rahu Ketu, came dressed as your own party. And when one drop fell out of the vessel, he drank it up. Then Mohini, who was actually Vishnu in a female form, saw that this guy, opposition guy, drank it up, that means he's going to become very powerful. So she took out a sword and lopped off his head. So Rahu Ketu became two, head and body separately. So at one end of the lunar mode, in the rotational cycle of the lunar ascending and descending process, at one end is Rahu, another end is Ketu. Once in 9 years, planet touches one of them. So head and body separate, but Rahu, Ketu are two ends at 180 degrees on a circle, they can never meet. Their head and body cannot come together because if they come together, your opposition party will become very powerful. There are many other aspects to this, which in the way it is related to our bodies, because that's what we are concerned about. What do we care if the sun comes up or not? We care because it matters to our life. Hello? What do you care if this atmosphere is filled with carbon monoxide or oxygen? Because it matters to our life, isn't it? So we must understand, still most of the humanity is functioning with the reptilian brain, that only if it matters to your survival, you will take care of it. Anything that does not matter to your survival, you will kill it. Still in the same mode, caveman's mode, hello? Even today, I think most people, if they see a snake, just say, shoot it first. Because they're in the survival mode, they don't understand that life is an intricate web of life, that there are various types of life and all of them together make life. Any one of them absent, things will start collapsing. So understanding these aspects, in India it was made because there is a natural tendency, because it's a venomous creature, everybody wants to kill it, the culture developed this strong emotion that you cannot kill a snake. If you kill a snake or even by accident if you kill a snake, then you must give it a full-fledged funeral like what you would do for your father or mother. You must give it a full funeral. Even today some people follow that. Though whole lot of people have gone back to the reptilian brains and are in a survival mode and just do that. There are many processes, spiritual processes, which are aimed towards transcending the reptilian brain within us. So calling forth the snake is not to become like a reptile, to become like a venomous creature, but to make sure all the functions in our body of heartbeat, of respiration, of sensations, of locomotion, balance, all these things are related to the reptilian brain. We want all these things to happen effortlessly so that our life can be focused on something more profound or of a higher nature. Otherwise, body will keep you grounded to limited things. Unfortunately, even today in 21st century, when technologies and organization of the world is making sure your survival process is becoming easier and easier. Never before it was this easy. Well, if you turn the tap, water comes. It's not warm enough, so you freak. There was a time, not too far ago or too long ago, just maybe 70, 80 years ago, maybe 100 years ago, the only way to get water was take a bucket and go to the pond and carry it back. Just everything, I'm not taking any big technologies, the simplest things. Morning, if you have to sit in the morning, you had to go looking for a place, dig a hole, do it in that. Today you do it, you don't have to do anything, sitting on the thing, if you press the thing, it's gone. As if nothing happened. So, because you don't know all the shit is getting out of you, I think you're just keeping it in your head these days. I'm saying these are not simple things. Unfortunately, today's generation is taking it for granted. I'm not even talking about advanced technology of computers, of phones, of spacecrafts and rockets and stuff. Simplest things, a water pipe, just a small thing. Hello? It's changed everything in our lives, isn't it? So this is all trying to handle the reptilian brain actually, because if all these things are taken care of, we may do something bigger. If every day it takes 2 hours to get water, that's a different life altogether. So, the idea of addressing the reptilian brain within ourselves is just this, that these things should not be an issue or a concern in our lives. Our heart should beat, our breath should happen naturally, our balance should be good, our locomotion should be good, everything is happening naturally, automatic, without your concern. Then we are hoping that you will focus on something bigger. Naturally, human intelligence will seek in that way. Because life means, living means, first thing is your heart should be beating, your breath should be on, your blood should be flowing, after that only other things, isn't it? We are just keeping the light ambience like this, just to see who will glow, and then we will know who is storing up the venom, who is using it up. This happened. A young lady went for a job interview and she was very nervous. The interviewer asked many questions and then he said, if there's one person, living or dead, with whom you would like to have conversation with, who is that? She said, living. I hope that's your choice too. So Naga Panchami is the 5th day of the Shravana Masa, or the Shravana month, according to the lunar calendar. In northern India, they use the 5th day of the ascending moon. In southern India, they use the descending moon. But the most important thing is, it's in this month where it's post-summer solstice, and it's significant for variety of reasons, because this is the time. See all the baby snakes on my shore. This is the time when all the baby snakes are maturing, because usually they all hatch in the month of July, maximum August. June, July, August is the time when most of the king cobras definitely, but other cobras also, most of them hatch in this period. And this is the time they are all moving into adult stage. That means they want to try their fangs on somebody, they're itching, like children have, what do you call that? Huh? Yeah. They're teething and they want to bite somebody. So they're all in that state. This is the time you must become very aware of the snakes. Unless you create a society where all snakes have been killed. Well, in southern India, snakes are everywhere and within the villages, everywhere it moves around, nobody thinks of killing them, people just move away and they move away because you're too big for them to eat you. They're not interested in wasting their venom on you. They don't think you're worthwhile. Yes. Only if you endanger them in some way, then they may go for you out of survival instinct of their own. After all, they're reptiles, they got a reptilian brain. So, essentially because they don't see you as food, they don't wish to waste that. But these young snakes, they're teething. They want to bite somebody, it doesn't matter who. So this is the time to become very conscious about the snake. So in this month, because Naga Panchami, everybody is devout, at this time even if the snake comes after them or it's in their home, they'll leave them out, nobody will kill because this is their month where toddlers are becoming teenagers and you must let them grow. You don't just kill all those young people because you're super afraid of something. Because the nature of human being has become like this, they have become more reptilian than the reptiles. Yes, I see the reptile is storing up its venom and making a crystal of it so that it can have free dinner without hunting. We can also do such things, no problem. But we are the only ones who are so fearful of our survival, we have produced arms and armaments, nuclear weaponry to a point. The number of nuclear weapons that we have, somebody is telling me, I don't know how far it's true because it doesn't matter, is they're saying we have enough weapons to destroy the whole planet 300 times over. I said, why do you have to do it 300 times? Once if you do it, it's done, isn't it? Yes, but we are capable. That's the most important thing. That I can kill you 10,000 times. So you better be Well, unfortunately, we have become like this, so definitely after all these years, I'm bringing this Naga Panchami into open and into more visible nature, mainly because as I'm seeing, the most affluent societies in the world are more reptilian than anybody else. Poorer people are little more, they're little more flexible about their boundaries. As people become richer and richer, the boundaries become stronger and stronger. The sense of wanting to fix a boundary itself is a reptilian process. It is coming from your reptilian brain that you always think a boundary. The more you invest on your boundary, the more you cannot get out of it. It's as simple as that. The whole spiritual process is about walking away from our boundaries, going beyond our boundaries. But the reptilian brain is always about building the boundaries. So we want to make sure that we don't get too invested in that, but at the same time, all the functions which are managed by reptilian brain happen seamlessly so that we don't have to worry about it, we are not concerned about it, because if we get concerned about it, again we get trapped in the same thing. Well, I had a nasty joke, but it's not nice to tell you. This is Naga Panchami. As a part of this, you know, we are growing one big snake in the Isha Yoga Center in India. The Naga there, I think the image is here. Now, we are consecrating another Naga in the Bangalore center. Bangalore center, as you know, those of you Kannada people are here. Doesn't sound like Kannada to me, ooh. So, Bangalore center is coming up and the first thing we are setting up is the Naga temple. The Adiyogi also is already halfway up. And in between the Navagrahas will come and a very different kind of… the same Devi but temple design and the way it is made is very different is coming up, a leadership academy, a Isha homeschool and Samskriti and of course the Isha Yoga Center coming up there. So that work is going on. As already it's been announced, the 9th of October is when we are consecrating the Naga. Naga Pratishtha is happening at that time. All this is an effort to make human system conducive for larger possibilities. Otherwise, it'll keep you busy with just eating, sleeping, reproduction, endlessly going on with the same thing. See, there is such a fetish everywhere in the world, but particularly I see here in this country, there's such a fetish about being young. What's wrong being old? Hello? It's a badge of experience. Hello? No, people want to look like they're still 18 all the time. Well, we've already gone through this. Most of you, at least here when I ask people, people come and say they did something stupid, then I ask, why? Oh, Sadhguru, I was only 17. Okay, you were stupid when you were 17, I get it. Now, but why do you want to be 18 now, when you're 60? So if the 18-year-old is your ideal, no, Sadhguru, in body I want to be 18. So that is the whole problem. You think your physiological structure is everything, then you will just remain physical. That is what we are calling as the reptilian brain. But the snake has evolved beyond that and has a vision of his own. And whenever celestial beings want to take a form here, if they want to acquire a form, generally their choice has been that of a serpent. Well, my own life is replete with those things. Unasked, they've come and guided me at various points in my life and put me back into life also. I don't know if you know these things, there's Mystics Musings must have spoken about this, I believe. I don't know whether it's Mystics Musings or Once More Than a Life. Somewhere it must be spoken, one of those books. So, the idea is to use this nature of the serpent to not only allow us to transcend our physical body, but also to transport us to places and perceptions that are beyond us right now, with a pineal eye. If your concern is only about physical body, somebody was telling me, I don't know if these figures are all correct, whether it's correct or not, it seems like that, at least looking at the marketplace. Somebody was saying, the amount of money that is being spent on hair care products is some 3 times more than what is spent on brain and neurological research. So you got a lot of hair, I'm glad. So one day Shankaran Pillai was walking with his friend and I was a little And his friend asked, "Hey, what's the problem?" Shankaran Pillai said, "See, I'm a walking economy." What do you mean by that? How are you a walking economy? He said, "My hairline is receding, recession. My hairline is in recession. My belly is in inflation. And I am in depression." So, if this is all your concern is, well, that's all it'll be. Is it wrong? I won't say that. What's wrong in being very limited? Nothing wrong. It's just human form is wasted, but this much complexity, if you want to live such a simple and basic life, you could have come as a earthworm, you would have been my earth buddy without registration. Now you have to register and you have to do something. No, if you just lived, you're my earth buddy. So, the purpose of complexity is because complexity creates possibilities. If those possibilities are not explored, complexity is waste of time and energy, isn't it? Hello? So, one thing is that there are many myths and superstitions about the snake. In the Western Hemisphere, one kind of thing that it may feed you the apple once again. I don't think these days they'll get discouraged by that. Even if it's a half-eaten apple, I think today you reasonably evolved over that. But the fear of snake is something deadly, devil's agent, that must get out of you. Even in India, there are certain people spreading these things that you cannot keep even a Naga form or even a picture at home. And this will happen, that will happen, snakes will come into your house if you keep it. No, if you keep a large enough snake, all the small snakes will go elsewhere, they won't come. Because snakes eat snakes, If you put up a big king cobra sized picture, all the other small snakes may go away if they see it. At the entrance of where I live in India, in the yoga center, there is a wooden snake which was made by a friend of mine, which is quite realistic, carved out of wood, rosewood. And at one time when Viji was there, she said, "Don't keep it here, every time I come here I get scared." I said, "No, he's the entry point, he's there, don't worry about him. You know he's a wooden snake." "I know he is, but he looks so real." So that's the idea, appreciate the artist. Let him be, he's still there. Well, I'm doing well. So this kind of nonsense is because people always make stories out of their fears. There are more stories made up out of human fear than out of human love or generosity or joy or anything else. Fear makes up maximum number of stories. It is important to understand that the snake form has the ability to take away certain impurities from the system. If it is done to a certain proportion and it is kept alive with the right kind of energies, this form can take away what are called as impurities, or it can be a continuous process of klesha nashana for you if you create a consecrated serpent form. And there is no temple in India without a serpent. So, if you want your home to be like a temple, you must welcome a Naga, because you can't afford to have a real one. copper, brass, or at least a pitcher will make a difference for you. And above all, this kind of absurd fear about something, you must know, fear about snake is inversely proportional to your knowledge about snakes. The less you know about it, the more you fear it. The more you know about it, the less you fear it, which is the same with everything, of course, but particularly with snakes, this is very true. What time did you have dinner? Oh, inflation or… We should have told you to stay hungry, but… Oh, we will do a nominal kind of practice, okay? No, there are many people with full stomach, so we'll do something simple. Who are who are all these no people? There are people with full stomachs, I'm saying it's not good for them, you're saying, no, no, let them do it. This happened. A little boy, a 10-year-old boy, they were on a vacation in a beach place and the boy came to his mother, Mama, Mama, I want to go and swim. She said, no way, the ocean is rough, there is a riptide, there are jellyfish and there are sharks. It's very dangerous, you are not going. But Mama, Daddy is swimming. But he has an excellent insurance. Let him do it. If you can recognize your car by your horn, you must run because it's going away. I know it's sloping that way, it's not easy, but can you sit properly, spread out? So one aspect which adds to snake's perception is his breathing is very controlled. Why breath? What breath has to do with perception? Everything. Because breath as you know it right now, respiration as you know it right now, is an act of survival. If it is happening in that state, you cannot perceive anything. Because the amount of static it creates in the body, there will be no perception. If your breath starts settling down, your perception will enhance itself naturally because the static of the breath starts coming down. As the breath settles down, everything in the system, including the cerebral activity starts settling down. So one of the most popular meditations on the planet even today is to watch your breath. Because with this you have absolute job security. You will never have nothing to do. till you're not there. Till the last moment there'll be breath and you can watch, so it is a reliable handle to hold on to. As you watch it, you don't have to do any control, naturally its frequency starts lowering itself over a period of time. As people become more and more meditative, the breath will start settling down. With that, in turn, the metabolism starts settling down. Because the metabolism and the breath have settled, there is better perception of everything because this survival process is not making too much noise. There are thousand aspects to it, let me not go into all that because we want to do some process right now. So this is the significance of breath. So snake has a way of inhaling up to 14 installments. And these 14 installments could take… different snakes may have different capacities, but a full-grown cobra in southern India would have the capacity to take in 14 installments of inhalation, and in approximately 12 to 14 minutes, it will make one exhalation. So people think the snake is angry. Snake is not angry because it has a foramen inside, that it has a small hole which is made of a cartilaginous entry point, which when it exhales forcefully, it reverberates and makes this sound. Now if you push your tongue to the lower incisors, the front teeth at the bottom, just push it against it and exhale. Okay? You shouldn't push it so hard, just you're exhaling. Let's say you held your breath for some time. So now we will do a simple thing. Sit this way. See, there is a beautiful saying. Among the tribals in southern India, there is a saying, when the cobra reaches the Himalayas, human life will come to great strife. What this means is, Himalayas doesn't have cobras because it's too cold for them. Only in the south, central India. As we go north, as it gets colder, there are no cobras. So I'm saying they said this hundreds of years ago or maybe thousands of years ago, when the cobras reach the Himalayas, human life will be under distress. Talking about global warming, I think. What do you think? And because of this, whenever they put up a Naga statue, they always put it facing southeast, so that he doesn't turn north and go this way. Just one question, if somebody has any question at all related to this, don't have to think up a question if you have one.
Namaskaram, Sadhguru. I always hallucinate snakes.
I'm sorry?
I always hallucinate snakes. I see snakes.
Okay.
I don't know what that means.
It means you're seeing snakes. Unless you're Chinese, you won't see a dragon. So, this question may be coming from any number of legends and stories that if a snake appears in your dream, this will happen, that will happen, what kind of snake it is, where was it moving towards you, away from you, there's a whole lot of interpretations. It's best that you don't get into this because it'll get very complex and you will develop many complexes, not necessary. The important thing is, you understand, in the process of evolution, a significant step in the physiological process has been reptilian life. You still carry that within you. If you don't transcend that, if you love something, you'll get stuck to it, if you hate something, you'll get stuck to it, isn't it? So both are not needed. If you see snakes, you see snakes, what about it? If you see trees in your dream, you don't think anything about it, isn't it? You won't go and ask anybody, I'm seeing trees, what do you think is happening? If you see young woman in your dream, you won't say, what is happening? But because there is a certain fear about the snake, because as I said, snake has received such bad press, because of that, you're asking that question and that question has been catered to in so many different ways in different traditions. Don't go there, because I'm not here to revive any tradition. I'm here to lay out a pathway for the future, not to revive any old traditions. Because what's the point of that? Even at that time, those traditions or those practices were done to pave the way for the future of those people. So even today it's the same intent. So don't go to traditional interpretations of you saw a snake and what's going to happen. If you drop the fear, you will see the snake as anything else. So right now this cable here is looking very much like a snake. The classic example of how your fear and whole psychological and physiological stuff happen within you is always described in yoga with this story of how if I say snake and throw a rope on you, you may have a heart attack. You will sweat, you palpitate, you scream and you jump and everything, it's just a rope. So, the danger is not in the snake, the danger and the problems are in your mind. So if you transcend certain things, you can handle this effortlessly. And above all, snake is a very perceptive creature. As I've said before, if anybody becomes very meditative, naturally snakes will come, real ones, not dream. Because they're able to see. They're able to see a conducive energy. This Nagamani we are talking about is also interpreted like this. One thing is it gets its food, another thing is because it has, the ancient manifestation which was light-sensitive foramen or pineal eye. It is not that developed now, but still there are photosensitive cells within, but when it creates the crystal, the crystal refracts and it's able to see things which are not physical in nature. This is why they see the energy of a human being, and when they see the energy is very overflowingly effulgent or exuberant, they move in that direction naturally because they are seeing something more than the physical. Cobra is the only creature that it can see the element Akash or Akasha during daytime. However evolved a yogi you are, during the day, it's very, very rare. When certain changes are happening, during solstices and equinoxes you may, but on a general day it's very hard. Only when there is no light you can see. Cobra is that one creature which sees that. So in that context, if you always aspire for certain things, one most important thing that most people are not aware of that they're aspiring for, they think they're aspiring for money, they're aspiring for this one and that one, but no, actually you want more of the world. Hello? You're not looking for a man, woman, property, this car, that, this, you want little more of the world. The best way to have more of the world without being troubled by the world is you perceive what others don't perceive. You even perceive them So, when you perceive everything about somebody who is around you, in a way, they are yours, isn't it? Hello? They may think something, it's all right. So if you perceive the world is yours. So those who are wise, those whose intelligence have matured, they will understand the best way to possess the world and the creation itself is by enhancing perception. It's in that context, Naga or the sacred serpent is very profoundly important in human life. Let's say in the next 2 years, we will do certain things about Naga, Naga Pratishtha in Bangalore, and also the Isha Yoga Center Naga should grow. He needs a little carrot in front of him, or let's say a frog, whatever attracts him. He is just going little slow, we will create that for him. Namaskar. Please gently say this with me. Shambho, 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 Shambho. Namaskaram. Well, for those of you who have fear about the snakes, instead of fear, if certain sense of gratitude and awe about the snake has to evolve, for those of you who are of Western origin, well, you must understand it's because of the snake you know what is a woman and what is a man. So don't you be afraid of the snake, it's been good to you. If you're of Indian origin, how can you be afraid of a snake? Because you can't have Shiva or Vishnu or Devi or anybody without snake nobody comes. So it's time to learn to be friendly with all life on this planet. Their venomous content in their body has nothing to do with you, has nothing at all to do with you. So, it's important that we look at life with little more reverence. Especially if you can come to terms with snakes, you come to terms with every life. Let me see him. Let's go. Drive safe, there are snakes on the road, don't kill them. I was not talking about your safety, their safety. One important thing is, do not attempt the practice at home. This needs to be properly initiated. This was just done for today. Please, don't do this at home, okay?